I am very excited to have with me today him. It's Carmelo Hayes, the number one contender to the NXT Championship. Carmelo, welcome to Under the Ring Pro Wrestling Conversation. So glad you're here with me.
What's up, Phil? Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, great. So let's start with what's coming up immediately for you. You're challenging Bron Breakker for the NXT Championship in the main event of Stand and Deliver on Peacock on WrestleMania Saturday. What does it mean for you to be in that spot, and what do you think fans can expect from this match?
A lot of people will say, hey, you deserve it. But the truth is, I earned it. I really did start from the bottom of NXT and work my way through every single rank to get to this point. 18 months, we talk about it all the time. It took 18 months to get to this point. And that 18 months was a lot of ups and a lot of downs for me. It wasn't just a straight shot up to Bron Breakker. So I think fans, what they can expect is to see two guys who really in the next 5 years are going to be the future of WWE. And this is a match in its infancy, rivalry in its infancy, that, will headline a WrestleMania one day. Next time we have this conversation, it'll probably be a match on WrestleMania, as far as, Bron Breakker versus Carmelo Hayes. And man, I'm just telling you, the limits are just limitless between our feud and things that we can do.
And I was telling Booker T, we had him on the episode that launched on Monday, that I think that match has the chance to be one of the best matches on a really stacked weekend of
Yes,
great wrestling matches, and
yes.
really and set the table, especially for the rest of the WWE weekend. You got to love being in that position though.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, that's been my mindset going into this match from the jump. From immediately when it was announced, it was that, hey, this is an opportunity to steal the weekend. Somebody had just asked me if I feel like, being in WrestleMania shadow, stand and deliver. But no, I don't look at it at all. It's like you got a bunch of big time matches happening that weekend, and I consider this one of the top three. And I don't take that lightly. I don't take that pressure lightly. And I expect, people to be talking about this in the same respect that they're talking about Cody and Roman, by the end of WrestleMania weekend.
And you're a student of the game. What other matches on that card interest you as a fan, and anything on WrestleMania you're particularly
Yeah,
looking forward to?
I'll be completely honest with you, Phil. I'm so focused on this match with Braun that is nothing really that's outside of, and I'm not really looking to. I think once I, get the match out the way, then I can start looking at, okay, well, what do I want to enjoy? But the only thing that I've been focused on is stand and deliver in the match with Braun. But I mean, of course, there's a ton of great matches, and I don't want to start naming them, and leaving any out. But I mean, Roman and Cody is the one I'm looking at right now as far as the biggest competition for Bron Breakker and myself, and the biggest parallel to the match that we have.
Very good. What is the NXT? What is NXT and the WWE Performance Center experience meant for your career? Now, I'm based out of Poughkeepsie, New York, so I've had the opportunity to see your career in Northeast Wrestling before you arrived in NXT.
Oh, cool, 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 cool,
And
cool.
I'm interested. Oddly enough, never met you before, but I've been following it at NW for probably like about 13, 14 years.
Oh, yeah, cool, cool, man.
But I'm interested to learn what kind of things being in NXT and the PC adds to your game, and just how it fine tunes you.
Just the knowledge, man. There's so many guys here that have done so much. I mean, just Shawn Michaels alone. But I mean, you got Terry Taylor, you got Matt Bloom, you got Fit Finley, you got Norman Smiley, you got, you know what I mean? It's just endless. Booker T, endless. Like, you can make. There's no mistake that you can make that these guys haven't done or haven't made. You know what I mean? So they're always constantly saying, "Hey, it's cool, it's cool. I made that mistake, but like, here's how you avoid it." And that's the biggest thing is they're just trying to help us avoid making the same mistakes that a lot of them made because it took a lot of them years and years and years of trial and error to get to the points where they got to. But here we are at the PC where we have all of them to help correct our mistakes or before we even make them. So it's a huge, huge advantage being at the PC, and we're just constantly working. We're constantly working. We're never just still. We're never content or complacent. We're just always on the move, always getting better.
And I saw an interview you had done with the Ringer with my friend Cameron Hawkins about kind of equating that to almost like a college curriculum, being in
Yeah.
the performance center.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much more or less we have made it like. I mean, this felt like my senior year is what we were trying to pretty much put it into perspective. Like, I had gone through the ranks of it. Now I'm at that point where it's like, okay, I understand. I understand, like you said, the curriculum of it all now. And now it's more or less just perfecting it and just continuing to practice it, and fine tuning it. And it is that, man. It is that, and there's levels to it. You know what I mean? You come in, you work with one coach, you work with another coach, you work with another coach, to the point where you get with Terry Taylor, which would be considered like the fine tuning, class. When you're at the top, it's like, all right, these are the things that are going to make you a top star, as opposed to, okay, here's how you do a wrist lock, here's how you do a head lock. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I know tape study, I've talked to other people who've been through NXT. It's always a big part of what goes on in the PC. Now, I know it's sometimes stuff with your own matches. Are there other wrestlers from prior generations that you're kind of maybe looking at their, film too, to kind of tweak your own game?
Sometimes, yeah. We definitely do film study with our own matches. Uh, but I try not to be super too influenced by anybody else as far as their, what I mean? I'm trying to innovate on my own. But I do see a lot of things like, I love watching Sean, but, I don't want to be compared to Sean, not because, that's not a good thing to be compared, but I just want to create my own style.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already been a Shawn Michaels, and there's already a million Shawn Michaels copycats. I don't want to be a Shawn Michaels copycat or Eddie Guerrero copycat. Like, these are the guys that I look up to, and I enjoy their work. But when I watch other things now, I more or less just get inspiration for certain things that I might want to try or do, or I see things like, I'm watching more or less how they carry themselves, how they react to certain things, just how they move in the ring. There's a lot of different things that I watch, but there's nobody that I'm watching that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, do that. I'm gonna do that. It's just more.
And you want to put your own spin on it too, even
Yeah,
if
yeah. I don't
it's
want.
something.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to say, oh, he reminds me of, like, I want to be people to be like, oh, Carmelo Hayes. There's nobody like him.
One of one, right? Like just like it says around your neck.
Yeah, yeah.
You had a tremendous run going before you even ended up in WWE. Were there any moments from when you were on the independent scene before WWE where you knew that things were going really well? I've seen plenty of talents make it to WWE, but as you've often said, and you're on kind of another level right now.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think once I started working with guys that, luckily, shout out to Northeast Wrestling for giving me opportunities like to work with Rey Mysterios, to work with John Moxley, to work with like those type of guys that had come from WWE and other places. Like, I got a chance to work with Carlito. There was a period where I was working with a lot of guys that were formerly in WWE. I think around that time I said, okay, you know what, I can hang with these guys, man. Like, I can do it at that level. And those guys really pushed me and gave me that confidence to say, all right, yeah, I got this. Like, once I get, all I needed is the opportunity. And that's always been my thing, Phil, for real. Like, all I needed was the opportunity. I think a lot of places, for whatever reason, didn't take a chance on me. And, it was their loss, but WWE was actually, they took a chance on me, and it's paid off.
To this point, other than Bron Breakker, what do you consider your best rivalry so far in NXT?
I don't really rival with people too much. I mean, I've had rivalries like, I'll give you one. All right, probably Solos.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why, because we had that full circle rivalry where it was like, we had words, and then we had done some tag team stuff against him, and then we had a triple threat match for the North American Championship, and then he was kind of doing his own thing, and then he came back to that episode of NXT, and he told me, he's like, I got next, and he beat me for the North American Championship. So that was probably my favorite full circle rivalry, because of the fact that it did end up coming full circle, regardless of losing the championship. To Solo, I mean, he's killing it right now. So it's one of those things. It's like, who better to lose it to? Also, you know what? I'll go on record saying Wesley was a great rivalry. I enjoyed that rivalry a lot, because we brought the best out of each other.
Certainly. Here's one I want to know is, does Trick Williams ever succeed in cracking you up with some of the things that he says? It seems like you two have such great natural chemistry, and, just kind of, what do you chalk that up to?
Yeah, all the time. My reactions a lot of times are genuine. When me and Chick are together, it's very much genuine and authentic. It's not manufactured, or, like, what I mean. We're just pretty much, sometimes you don't know how, like, sometimes, like, he'll say something one way, and then when we're out there, say it a completely different way, and that will get me out. But man, Looking at him like, what the heck? So I mean, yeah, it's just kind of like we're so in sync as far as like our process, and he understands kind of like my outlook on how I like to be portrayed, or how I like our duo to be portrayed. Because we've had conversations before about being a little bit more. I don't want people to look at us like we're funny. You know what I mean? Like we're not like we won't whoop your. You know what I mean? Like we won't beat you up. But also at the same time, I want people to have fun when we're on TV too.
Yeah, and I feel like he seems to really understand that line too, because I really enjoyed what you guys have been doing. I think the one that cracked me up that it seemed like it got you, and I think it got Mackenzie Mitchell too, was when he used the words booty meat actually in a promo one week that I think kind of took everyone for surprise a little bit.
What do you mean on a Friday night? The
Yeah,
way
I
he
was
said
like,
it, it's just things like that. Like just looking like, oh my god.
it's so fast too. I rewound it like 3 times. Like, did he really just say that? I didn't. I had to check.
On a Friday night.
What has it been like to watch his ascension, Trick Williams?
Great, because it's one of those things where when you get paired together. I mean, him and I were cool, but like you're not really sure exactly what it's gonna become. It could have hit or it could have missed. It easily could have flopped. But watching him slowly kind of understand the business, because you got to remember he didn't come from wrestling, so it's like this is a foreign world to him, and watching him kind of learn and helping him grow alongside me has been something that it's like I take a lot of pride in the fact that Trick Mello is still something that consistently is improving, and people and fans still love to watch. And as far as like in his in-ring work, is getting so much better. He just needs reps, man. He just needs more and more matches. It's just that the journey has been, as far as my journey, it's just been keep going up and up and up. So it hasn't really been any downtime to like kind of, for him to do his thing. He's been having my back on a lot of these big opportunities. So I'm excited for him to eventually start getting his own opportunities and title matches and main events and everything.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching his ascension too. It's been
Yeah.
it's been really fun. Um, One thing I really like what you guys do is your barbershop segments. I feel like it's so different than what you would normally see in maybe a WWE environment. The way it's presented, it's just pretty organic with you and Trick and others just chatting and hitting your points about your upcoming matches and stuff like that. What's the thought process look like going into one of those, and what do you like about those segments?
Thought process is more or less just how would we really do this? You know what I mean? How would we really conversate about this upcoming event or this person in an entertaining way? And these barbershop segments, they're small, but they mean they get us on TV and they get the point across. Sometimes doing an in-ring promo isn't always you don't always have to go and stand in the ring and do a promo. Like, this is a very creative way. I'm so happy that we were able to do this. But yeah, it's just very organic. It really is, like the piecing it together and just chatting with each other. Oh yeah, I'll say that. Oh yeah, you say that. Oh, that sounds good. That's funny. What if I did this and you said that? We put it together like that. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's how we put those together. Like, boom, quick.
I saw recently some of the stuff the wrestling club out in Brooklyn wrote up about some of their favorites, and I saw one on you that basically said that you show them what black excellence looks like, and I was just wanted to know what that means to you to be that kind of an influence on a generation of fans.
Unbelievable. A lot of people, they'll ask me like, oh, like, what's your purpose? Like, why do you do it? And the short, easy, think people that I want to win championships, I want to do this, I want to make money. But in reality of it all, it's just inspiring a generation. It's so wild, man. Like when I first came into it, I had no idea the impact that you could make on a kid's life just by being yourself and just by carrying yourself a certain way and having confidence. It's been such a I guess eye-opening experience, just seeing the impact that I've had on these, not just these kids but just anyone and everywhere. But I mean, it's a huge responsibility, and once I realized that I had that power to impact people, I realized I was like, oh, okay, I gotta move a little different. But no, it really does drive me, man. I love hearing that I'm inspiring somebody, or I help them, build their confidence. Or what would Carmelo say? What would Carmelo do? It's a huge, huge. Like, it means so much to me, and it's a huge responsibility that I don't take for granted.
I got to see you recently on Main Event when you were at the Barclays Center. I love the way that the NXT wrestlers are getting a chance to compete on that show, and
Yeah,
I know you recently got a chance to wrestle in Boston on Main Event too. And I wanted
yeah.
to know what did that mean to you?
I remember driving by the TD Garden. Um, I don't know, like maybe like 6 years ago, and I remember saying, "I'm gonna wrestle in that building." Just somebody was in the car with me. I said, "I'm gonna wrestle in that building," and I just always knew. I just knew. And I remember that moment of saying that as I was there about to go up the curtain. I was like, wow, I really did it, man. I really did it. I explained this to somebody else when I came back. I was like, it was the perfect full circle moment for me of, seeing my first WWE show in that building, being, just a kid and just, I don't know, just felt larger than life. It just felt so unattainable. And then coming back home and the reception I got was incredible. And I had worked so hard in that area, that New England area for all those years and built such a strong fan base and just put in so much time. And that, the payoff was just amazing, man, going in there and just getting all the love that I did. It was a huge full circle moment, but it was just a taste. And it made me realize like, okay, yeah, I need more of this.
So we're going to move on to something we call the 3 count now. It's going to be 3 quick questions and your answers. So WrestleMania is coming this Saturday and Sunday. If you could decide a WrestleMania opponent for Carmelo Hayes for, say, next year in Philadelphia, who might that be
Seth Rollins.
and why? I guess is the next part
I
of it.
feel like if there's anybody I think I find as similar to me and my style that I would mesh with really well in the ring, it'd be Seth Rollins.
All right. Next question: is there a place you've never wrestled where you'd like to, be it a venue or a city?
Los Angeles at the Crypto.com arena.
Well,
Never
that one's gonna be solved pretty soon.
I know. That's why it's wild, man.
That's awesome. And the last question: what was? Do you remember what your first WrestleMania you watched was, and what is your personal favorite WrestleMania moment?
First WrestleMania I probably watched was WrestleMania 20.
Hmm.
I remember as a kid, like we never got like I remember like we would get every now and then we get Royal Rumble, like because WrestleMania was like $60, remember? Like you had to pay for the pay-per-view. So it was like a really expensive one if you could get, like I remember going over to my buddy's house and he got WrestleMania. That's the only reason why I watched it. It was WrestleMania 20. Um, and then my favorite WrestleMania moment, and a lot of people enjoyed this moment for certain reasons, but it was Kofi Mania, man. I remember being in New Jersey, New York around that time, experiencing my first WrestleMania weekend as a talent, not in WWE outside, and just the vibe and the energy behind it, and just like everybody was rooting for Kofi. It was history getting ready to be made. And if you know Kofi, he's such a good dude, and like nobody deserves it more than him. So I remember that moment just being like almost like hope. You know what I mean? It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's attainable. He's doing it for us.
I got to be in the building for that one because I was actually at one of the 2 WrestleManias that I've been to, both of the ones at MetLife, and
Yeah.
it was so great to be there live. And I love too that like Brian Danielson still brings it up as his favorite moment too, and he was the one that was losing the darn match.
Selfless.
So obviously it meant a lot more than just what it was. So. But Carmelo Hayes, it's so nice to finally talk to you. It's been great to follow you as Christian Casanova through Northeast Wrestling, and then all the way up through now with what you're doing for NXT Stand and Deliver this Saturday, WrestleMania Saturday. So all the best to you, and congratulations on all that you have accomplished.
Cool, Phil. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that.
All right, take care.
You too.